Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nasra Hassan and this is Emotion. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the famous topic, self-love. What is self-love? As you are thinking about it, do click the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell so that you do not miss anything each time I upload educative content. Do not go anywhere because we'll be right back. Hey and welcome back. Today we are talking about self-love. Self-love is one of these topics which are controversial in one way or another, especially with this current society, with social media and all that. So today we are going to talk about what really self-love is, because many people think self-love, according to what we see on social media, self-love seems to be about pampering yourself. It seems to be about manicure and pedicure, going to nice restaurants, going for vacations, and this leaves the people who cannot afford that kind of life behind. Some people think maybe I do not love myself enough because I am unable to take myself for a vacation, because I am unable to take myself to a nice restaurant. All the controversies that we see around and the social media has made us to believe that self-love is only about having money. But self-love is far beyond all that. I'm not saying that taking yourself to a nice restaurant is not self-love. I'm not saying that taking yourself to the spa is not self-love. I'm not saying that taking yourself for a vacation is not self-love. It is, though it is not all what self-love entails. Self-love entails a lot more than that. Actually, when we talk about self-love, all those things that we see on social media and stuff, they take 5% in as far as self-love is concerned. Self-love has a lot more to do with the inner than the outside. Though we tend to think that self-love is all about those nice things that we see on social media, people driving nice cars. I'm not saying that it is bad to gift yourself with a nice car if you can, but self-love starts with love yourself unconditionally, despite all your flaws, despite all your ups and downs. Love yourself, embrace who you are. Sometimes you think about the things that you cannot do, you feel like you are not intelligent enough. Self-love comes in when you start embracing who you are unconditionally, not standing in front of the mirror and be like, I love this part of my body, but I don't like this part of my body. I like this part of me, but this other part of me, if it wasn't there, it would be better. No, that is not self-love. Self-love is when you stand in front of the mirror with all your imperfections. You've gained a lot of weight. Your body is not the way you would like it to be. Embrace yourself with all that, with all those imperfections. Loving yourself unconditionally. Despite all those imperfections, embrace them and tell yourself you are beautiful or you are handsome. That is self-love. That is actually the beginning of self-love. Self-love is also making peace with all those imperfections. As we grow, we make so many mistakes. There are certain things that we cannot change in our lives. Yeah, there are some past mistakes that we did, and now when we grow up, we look back, we start feeling shame, guilty, and it is late. We cannot do anything about that. Self-love comes in to remind you to make peace with what you can't change, to accept and make peace with that, and change what you can change. But until you start the journey of changing what you can change, be kind to yourself. Be kind enough. Be patient with yourself. It will not happen instantly. It will take time, but it will eventually happen. But until then, make peace with that. That is another form of self-love. Making peace with the things that you cannot change, and what you can change. Decide to change, but while being kind to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you did some mistakes in the past and you cannot change it, so what? You did it because you didn't know any better. You didn't know any better way to do things. Now that you know, and you can do better. Don't make yourself to feel like you are the worst person simply because you didn't do things better, because you didn't know what was the better way to do things. That is the only way you knew. So self-love is when you know how to do better and take the mistakes that you did in the past as a lesson, and do not let those mistakes to define you as a person. Prioritize yourself. It means identify what makes you happy and what you don't like. Get to know what makes you happy. What are your hobbies? What are those small things that make you feel good? And also learning to say no. When you can't do something, do what you can. And whatever you do it with all your heart. Do those small things that make you happy. Prioritize some time for you. Say no when you can't. That is another form of self-love that we do not always talk about. Self-love also means delaying gratification. This simply means you are going to celebrate when you've achieved something. Let's say, for example, you have gained some weight and you need to lose it. Let's say you want to be able to lose 5 pounds. Delaying gratification is when promise yourself, once you lose these 5 pounds in a month, I'm going to take you out for a chocolate cake. You are going to give yourself a treat, but it's going to be based on what you have achieved, and you have put in all your heart and time to achieve what you've promised yourself to achieve before you celebrate. Delaying gratification is also a form of self-love. Sometimes you want to take yourself out for a treat, but first ask yourself, what am I celebrating? What have you done to deserve this? At least first do something that you've promised yourself to do, and then celebrate. Give yourself a treat. Yeah, that is what delaying the gratification is. Then self-love also means to hold yourself accountable. There are so many things you have been giving yourself promises. By the end of this year, this month, I want to do this. By the end of this year, I want to do this. How many things have you done since you started giving yourself all those wrong promises? You get. Self-love also means realizing all those promises that you've been giving to yourself. Because the more you keep lying to yourself, the more you disrespect yourself, it means you are most likely to also do that to other people. And it is not respectful when you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, and you don't do this. I'm going to lose this weight at the end of this year, but you haven't even started the gym. I'm going to start this project. You only talk about it. So self-love is also a way to hold yourself accountable. You get? And start realizing all the promises that you've been giving yourself. Because when you lie to yourself like that, you disrespect yourself, and it is not a right way to do. Respect is when you tell yourself you are going to do something and you do it, and that is a form of self-love. Self-love also can mean identifying all the triggers, all the things that have been affecting you for the past, I don't know, 1 month or 1 year. Think you haven't been okay. You have been triggered by so many things. Self-love means also sit yourself down and start identifying one by one. So what is happening? What is making you this unhappy? Is there something that you can do to maybe make yourself get back to normal? Having a meeting with yourself, identifying the things that are triggering you and heal from them. Of course, there are some wounds that you cannot heal from, but at least start the journey. It is also a form of self-love. Self-love always seems like as if I need to have a lot of money in order to love on myself. I need to have resources, I need to have a car, I need to have this in order to love myself. No, self-love is also doing the inner work. Then last but not least, treating yourself. If you have money, you can take yourself out. You always have to remember of delaying the gratification. Yes, you want to take yourself out, you want to give yourself a treat. This treat has to be based on you've done a lot of work on yourself. I've been able to at least heal from this. I deserve a treat. Let me at least take myself out. Let me take myself for a vacation. Let me take myself to the spa. Let me take myself for a manicure or pedicure. Of course, these are some of the things that it is not like you cannot do them if there's nothing that you have achieved, but at least this encourages you to also think about the inner work when it comes to self-love, the inner than the outside. Because when it comes to self-love, many people focus more on the outside, how they look, all these other things that people can see, and we forget about the inner self. One thing you have to remember is that we are beyond our body. While we focus on our body, there is also our mind and our spirit. So when we talk about self-love, do not only look at your body. That's why I've said all these outside things are just 5% of self-love, but the 95% of self-love is the inside, dealing with your mind and your spirit. That is self-love. And this is all I had for you today. I hope you've learned something as far as self-love is concerned. From Emotion, we can't wait to see you in the next episode. Until then, it's a wrap. My name is Nasra Hassan. Bye bye and stay blessed.